Hey everybody, it's Bradley Ryan. Welcome to our latest video chat. We are live on Facebook, also on our YouTube page. If you are watching the replay of this video and you do have questions for our guests or anyone you see today, please ask them and we will monitor the feed and we will make sure that we definitely respond to your question. And at any time, if you're watching us live and you do have questions, please feel free to jump on as well. So a great chat we're going to have today. Mr. Blake Tatum, the Executive Director of VIP Urgent Care, is joining us. Blake, how you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So, have you heard of this? It's what's it called? It's COVID? Is it COVID-19? Is that it's a really big deal? I guess it's going to be here for a while.
Yes, it does sound familiar.
What's life been like for you? Trying to deal with everything that's happened over at VIP Urgent Care.
It's been very bizarre since this whole thing hit several months ago. I mean, we were in shock like everybody, and it seemed like our business just basically ended overnight. I mean, we dropped down 75% right away. I mean, the patients just they didn't come in. I mean, I think everybody was afraid, and they stayed home, rightfully so, given all the concern in the public, and you know, they really listened to the government, and people were quarantining.
You know something? I'm going to tell you. I'm guilty of exactly what you're talking about because I did slice myself pretty good with the knife, and I feel like I could have used some stitches, but I super glued it myself because I was afraid, to go in, and that's a big, misconception. People, if you're sick, you need to get in there and go get some treatment.
Yes, this is true, and that's one of the big things we saw early on in the first month. People were coming in and with advanced stages of, different illnesses, and they would just come right out and say they were afraid to come in and be treated. So, for example, you might have a young child with an advanced ear infection, where you could have very serious complications if that goes untreated. And people were just afraid that they would catch COVID if they came to get treated, which, the problems that they were putting off could end up being worse than if they had caught the virus.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be more dangerous to stay home. If you're getting sick, you're just getting worse because you're not getting treatment, and you end up worse off than if you went in there and took the risk. So VIP Urgent Care in India was closed temporarily, but now is back open. Talk about that.
Yes, we had just recently opened our Indio branch in the late fall, and it was just starting to get, busy and sort of regular with patients coming in. And when the virus hit, we went down to seeing 0 to 1 patient a day. And so, we really had no choice but to try to close that location up and try to see everybody we could in Palm Desert and Palm Springs at our other 2 locations.
How long has VIP Urgent Care been in the Coachella Valley?
We have been here for about 18 years now. We started out in Rancho Mirage 18 years ago, and moved just down the street to Palm Desert about 5 years in. And then about 8 years ago, we opened in Palm Springs, and then last year in India.
So no testing for COVID-19 is going on at VIP Urgent Care. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And I know that sounds a little peculiar, but we made basically a business decision, or a sort of a healthcare practice decision to really try to remain open and available to take care of people who had non-COVID related problems, the broken legs, the sinus infections, the strep throats, the ear infections, chest pain, different things like that. And we wanted people to feel comfortable to come into urgent care and not think about being exposed to COVID. And that was the daily concern we were hearing. And so we felt if we didn't do the testing here, that people would have just another ounce of comfort in knowing that sick COVID patients weren't in our facility. And that has really worked out pretty well. I mean, and people feel safe. I feel like when they come here.
Yeah, and you want to break an ankle or sprain an ankle, then go in there, and then you're constantly thinking about you might have the risk of catching something else. So like broken bones, wounds, injuries. You also do digital X-rays. Is that X-rays is kind of a tricky one because I could be wrong, but I think I've been somewhere and they didn't have an X-ray machine, and I was sent somewhere else. Is that am I making that up, or am I
No, that
imagining that?
happens, and that happens at some facilities, and it just depends. I mean, we have X-ray in all three of our locations, and it's kind of a vital thing for nurture care to have because so many things require X-ray.
So, what would you say would be the biggest thing that your doctors are saying as far as like COVID-19 goes? What's like the most important thing? Is it wearing the mask? Is it staying away from people? Is it, is it praying? Like, what's the biggest thing that you'd say that'll help you, stay safe from this thing?
Well, I think you hit it on the head with the praying. That's probably the best bet. No, seriously, I mean, if pray if that works for you. But the bottom line is everything the government's telling you in terms of social distancing and mask wearing and hand washing and staying really at home as much as possible. All of that amounts to great advice, and it's great advice anyway in flu season and any time of year really. And that's one of the great things about this whole virus is we've all learned to be a bit more careful in our everyday lives where we perhaps weren't. But yeah, absolutely. The social distancing, the mask wearing is very helpful.
By the way, if you're watching this on any platform, you can type a question. If you're on Facebook, you can type a question in, and we can do our best to answer it while we're live now. And if it's all, like I said, if it's the replay you're watching, we will be monitoring this post, and we will be responding to all the questions. So, as you can see, life for a radio person, I was not a radio professional, but radio person like myself, life has changed. Before COVID-19, I would be down at your place doing a live broadcast with you in person and doing these, and then now we're doing the virtual live broadcasts or live remotes. Life has changed for everyone. Give me some examples of how things have changed for you in the medical profession, like everything from like admin to like what the doctors are doing. Like what's some big things that have really gotten in your way here?
Well, I suppose the big thing is that we're trying to bring social distancing and safe practices into our office as well as every regular office would. In healthcare, we're obviously a bit more cautious and heightened in our safety, and so we are triple cleaning our facility regularly. We clean exam room after every patient is in. We're being extremely careful. We try to have social distancing amongst the staff. We try to have people work away from other people in different locations if we kind of spread out our billing staff, etc. For myself, it's pretty much the par for the course, the regular workday. In terms of our physicians and providers, we try to keep them also safe and away from contact with the staff and the patients as much as possible. We try to keep the time in the rooms minimal. We minimize the waiting room time as well. Like a lot of places, we've limited the number of people that can be in our lobby. In the past, if you came in to see the doctor, Bradley, you might bring your mom or your kid with you. And now we're telling you, okay, the patients in the room only. We don't want any family members to come back unless it's really necessary, like with a minor where you might need to have the parent or guardian in with them. But for the most part, we try to minimize the exposure to as many people as we can for our staff safety, but also for the patient safety. Another thing that we
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Blake.
I was just going to say another thing that we've tried to do as well is offer the ability to do a telemedicine visit. It's sort of an up and coming great new thing in healthcare now, and it's something that a lot of primary physicians have really taken advantage of during this strange COVID time, and allows them to stay in touch with their patients and keep managing disease and keep things moving along. For urgent care, it's a little more challenging because a lot of times you really need to see an injury to know what needs to be done. And so we try to offer it as another extra layer of comfort for the patient that's really apprehensive about coming into the clinic. We'll initiate a telemedicine visit, see if we can perhaps handle it that way. A lot of times we can. There's a lot of basic type of things that can be treated via telemedicine. It just depends on the case.
Yeah, I've been doing telemedicine for many years. I learned about it a long time ago, and you're great, right. It's a great addition to what you folks are already doing, but it's tough, and especially for urgent. You need urgent care. You generally need it like right now because you need stitches, or you got a broken bone, or it's something you can't do over a video conference. So you can't put stitches in that finger. You know what I mean? So I got to
Right.
get in there and see you. But it is great. And it's a great addition, and it's great you guys are doing that.
Well, getting a cut, that's a great example because I can show you my finger and you can see the laceration on the video, but you really need to see it, and you need to sort of have a tactile awareness of that injury to know exactly what needs to be done. Sometimes a simple little laceration that might look like it needs one or two stitches or no stitches, once you look at it, you realize it's a very deep laceration that you couldn't really tell on a video. So it's one of those types of things where, we really need to try to see that person, in the clinic. I should mention too, we've had some people that were so uncomfortable that they really needed to come in, and we've gone out to their car and tried to have an exam at the side of the car. And again, sometimes you just have to have that provider's eyes physically present with that injury to be able to ascertain what is really going on.
So you mentioned that no testing going on at the VIP urgent cares, and that's a way you can help keep your patients safe because they'll feel better about the fact that potentially someone with COVID-19 is not going to be there trying to get a test, but people are getting tested. They're getting tested. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between getting tested at like a non-county facility or a county facility, results time and all that stuff?
Absolutely. And there's been an awful lot of talk about this, and perhaps you could even say controversy determining what type of test to get, where should I get it, and it's pretty confusing. But I can tell you from our experience and personally staying in touch with the various facilities and emergency departments, hospitals, etc. To our determination, the best thing to do is to go to the county. Riverside County has a great testing process set up, as you know, at the fairground, and it's appointment based. But you can get an appointment within a day or two, and the results back within a week. I've heard of results coming back within 2 or 3 days, even. Um, I mean, that's pretty good. Some of the private pharmacies are also doing testing, but from our perspective, got two issues with that. One, they have you self-administer the swab test. So most physicians would feel like that test is a bit suspect because you really need someone who knows what they're doing. If you've probably seen on television, the swab test is quite invasive, and it's important that the test be done properly. And so if I'm standing in a retail pharmacy and you ask me to put the swab in, I'm not going to go to the proper depth. And so you do have to wonder about those results. But on top of that, I've had several cases that I've heard of where it's taking, 10, 12, 15 days to get results back. And, for people that are trying to get back to their lives and ascertain if, who's at risk in their life and if they have to quarantine, it's very discouraging to have that much delay.
So the message here today is that VIP urgent care is open, all three locations, and it is safe to go to VIP urgent care to go get looked at. Do not be afraid to walk through those doors because, quite frankly, it's probably you're going to be worse off if you stay home and ignore something you should be in there getting looked at. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, you're going to be safer coming here than you are going to be going to the grocery store. It's really important not to put off important healthcare issues. If you're having some chest pain or some concern or any kind of issue going on, a sore throat that I mean, obviously sore throat is one of the catch symptoms for COVID, but there's many cases where it has nothing to do with COVID. It's a strep throat or whatever. We can test for that. And if you think you've been exposed to COVID or you're concerned about it, you can. There's obviously a Riverside County hotline, which everybody is well aware of. There's other hotlines that hospitals are running. You can call our main number, and we'll be happy to try to help give you some guidance there as well, or help you determine how to go get tested. Obviously, I don't want to see people that are actively infected coming here for treatment for COVID. that this really isn't the right place. Really, there are no urgent cares that are the right place for someone who's actively sick with the virus. But information, questions, help, absolutely. We're here for that. And if you show up here and you think you've been exposed or you think you have one of the symptoms, we pre-screen right when you come in as well. We'll put you in a more sterile, safe sick room, we call it, and we take extra precautions in those rooms with our provider and with our staff until we can determine, what the risk may or may not be for COVID. And a lot of times people have a symptom. I mean, there's so many symptoms that hit the COVID criteria that you may think, oh my God, maybe I have something here. I mean, even diarrhea and headache is on there now, and so it's easy to get caught up in the list of symptoms and to overlook something that could be just a easily treatable illness.
I hope it would never come down to that whole diarrhea thing. That would make all the people who hoarded all that toilet paper right. When all this first started happening, I still can't get toilet paper. And so it's safe. It's safe to go to VIP urgent care. It's safer, in fact. And I forget who it was that said it because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But somebody had said, people are afraid to go to VIP urgent care, but they're on their way to Walmart to go shopping.
Right, right.
And I've been in line at Walmart, and I mean, it's as nutty as it's ever been over there. And I can almost you can kind of feel moisture from people, and it's just, yeah, it's definitely safer at VIP urgent care to go get looked at than heading out shopping. So as, I don't want to kind of put you on the spot here and ask you like directly, but if you could speak for the medical community, like if you could speak for, which you can't, but if you could speak for the doctors that what's the general consensus? Like, what's the general feel of when we're finally going to get a leash on this COVID thing and we'll finally start to feel like it's okay to get life back to normal again? Do the doctors have any sort of an opinion? Like, oh yeah, like maybe around February, March, something like that. Like, what are they feeling?
Honestly, you kind of put me on the spot. I don't have a great answer for you, and it's something that we talk about a lot. It's something we have 15 providers here, and it's something they discuss a lot. And obviously, they're reading everything that's in their professional avenues and journals, and et cetera. And it's really, really hard. There's so much confusion with everything right now. The goalposts are moving every day. The game is changing. The virus seems to be changing as well. And in fact, some recent research indicates that it mutates rapidly, and that's making the whole vaccine approach even more challenging. So, we're staying optimistic and we're staying positive. Our providers have a real practical approach, to this whole thing that, life does have to go on. They have to live. Everybody has to, feed their family, pay their bills, and but we all want to be safe at the same time, and we don't want to lose family members and loved ones. And that's why you kind of get back to the original advice that people oftentimes don't want to hear, which is, try to minimize your socializing,
Right.
be safe when you go out, keep your distance, wear your mask. It really does make a difference. And,
Yeah, what an incredibly odd time in human history to be alive. Certainly none of us have ever seen anything like this. It's bananas, and in the age of social media, it's just crazy with all the info that whether if it's real or not that gets thrown at you nonstop every single day. It's tough to know which way to lean or how
well,
to feel about things.
it is great with social media and the various news sources. It's very, very hard to know what truths we're hearing and to really decide and sort out how we should approach this, how we should feel. And unfortunately, it's become a little bit political now as well. And so you know, we're
You
just
think a little political?
well, okay, it's a lot political, but we're just trying to take care of people and be as safe as we can while we do it. And obviously, my main concern is the safety of our patients, but I mean, right there next to that is the safety of our staff and providers. And so it's we take it very seriously. It's something we're very concerned about, but we're also sort of pragmatic might be a good word, and optimistic. And I think there is some light into the tunnel right now, and what we're hearing in the media, it sounds like maybe we're going to the dark side again, and I hope that's just a little blip, but we'll see very shortly, I suppose.
Okay, so all three VIP urgent cares are open. So they all have different hours, and if they do, explain to the folks which one's open when.
Our normal hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 to 5 on the weekends. And we're back up to full hours in Palm Desert and Palm Springs. In Indio, we just opened back up again last week, and we're trying to, ease into it. And so we're having reduced hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for right now, we're not going to be open on the weekends. But our hope is that within the next few weeks, we'll get back up to the same hours across the board. So it is always a good idea to call before you come in, just to kind of see what's going on with wait times, and if we have any issues going on.
Are you doing any sort of updates or giving out any information on any of your social media platforms?
I'm sorry.
Like as far as your social media, like your Facebook / VIP urgent cares, are you giving out like information or updates or anything like that on social media?
We have some updates on our website that we maintain, but really your best source of information on COVID would be the CDC, and I'd start with the county, our county, Riverside, and then go up through CDC after that.
Gotcha. Like you said, the Indio not as open as the rest of the VIP urgent cares, but luckily we're in a place where it's not that bad of a car ride. If you just want to, I know if you live in Palm Springs, I feel like you got to break out your passport even to drive just to Palm Desert. But Indio is not that far of a drive to go to Palm Desert. Palm Springs if you need to.
It's not actually. I go there quite a bit, and it's 15 minutes basically. It's 13 miles from my office to Palm Springs, and it's I think 12 miles to Indio, so it's about 15 minutes either way. And but I understand people don't want to drive when you don't feel well or you have a sick child. You just want to get treated and seen as quickly as possible. Now, on the plus side, since all of this craziness, the wait times here are very small now, so you can you can get in and get out pretty quickly, which is a benefit for our patients.
Awesome. All three VIP urgent cares are open. They are completely safe to go in there and get looked at. If you feel like you need to get some treatment, get in there and get it taken care of. Don't sit at home. Don't wait for it to get worse because you'll end up, quite frankly, worse. Blake, did we hit it all today? Do you have anything else you want to tell the folks about?
I think you hit it really well. That's the big thing that our physicians are worried about, is that people put things off that really do need to be treated, and then the problem becomes way worse.
Got it. So get yourself in there if you need the treatment. VIP urgent care open on Indio, and then all three locations as well. Blake, it was great chatting with you, and keep doing the good work, my friend.
You as well, Bradley. Thanks very much.
You got it. All right, everyone, that is going to do it, and we're going to sign off. Thank you all so much for joining us. Like we said before, if you watched the entire broadcast and you do have questions and you want to type them in the box on the side, please feel free, and we will answer those. Thank you all very much. Stay safe out there. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.